Hey everybody, Jillian here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be taking a break from journaling in my Bible and I'm going to be creating an entry in my hymnal here. So this is a hymnal that I picked up from my church. I asked if I could have it. They said yes, and I've been creating in it here and there. I've got a bunch of different videos. I'll link in the video description below if you want to see the pages that I've made in here. But I wanted to, before I get started, talk about how this entry came to be, like how I got to the point where I knew I wanted to journal this. I know that there are a lot of you guys that are new to journaling, art journaling in general, so I'll talk about what inspired this entry, and then if you don't have any interest in hearing that, just go ahead and skip to this time in the video so you can go ahead and start to watch the process. So typically entries for me are scripture driven. This was supply driven, and that's why I'm doing it in my hymnal instead of in my Bible. But as I took the time to figure out what I wanted to talk about, because I do like to be prepared when I am going to art journal, when I am going to worship through art, I want to know when I'm worshiping, right? I want to know why I'm worshiping. So what started it off were these floral pieces that are actually digital pieces from the Print and Pray shop by Make Wells. And so I've got a couple different florals here already cut out, some printed on sticker paper, and then these guys are on white cardstock. I knew I wanted to use these, and I had these acrylic paint colors out. So that's really what's driving this entry. And then I thought some more supplies I wanted to use were some old devotional kit pieces. So here are some die cuts that I'm planning on using from the Less Hustle, More Jesus devotional kit from Illustrated Faith and Dayspring. And this is the stamp set that is included with that. So I'm going to use that in my entry today. I really want to use up these pieces that I didn't use when I went through the devotional. So I knew I wanted to use some of these guys, these colors of paint. What am I going to journal about? So what drove the journaling, what I'm actually going to be talking about on here, is this little die cut that says My Need. So I thought about an amazing book that I've read recently by Jen Wilkin called None Like Him. It says 10 ways God is different from us and why that's a good thing. I'll talk more about the book in the video. This die cut piece reminded me of something I had read about God's self-sufficiency, and that kind of got my wheels turning, and that's where the entry came from. So this die cut reminded me of what I read in this book, sent me here to this hymn, I Need Thee Every Hour, and then from there I pulled the rest of the supplies that I was going to use, like these alpha stickers, some stamps for making art marks, things like that. So that is the inspiration for this page. I'm going to go eat lunch really quick, and then I'm going to come back and start journaling. Okay, back from lunch. It was great. Shared some dino nuggets with my 4-year-old. These dino nuggets from Aldi with some Frank's hot buffalo sauce. Oh, so good. Anyway, I'm going to start off with my base layer for the page, which are these kind of art marks almost from Megan Wells' Print and Pray releases. So I have about 3 pieces printed on clear sticker paper. I use the Avery 8665 clear label paper. I get it on Amazon. I'll link to the exact one in the video description below. But those are going to be my base layer, and then I'll build things on top of them. So you can see I put every one of those elements like hanging off of the page, and then I just very easily flip it over and trim off anything that hangs over, so you get like this nice look as if they're just going off the edge of the page. From there, I'm going to go ahead and put the other flowers on. I had an idea of where I wanted these to go. That's why they're, kept on the top and bottom of the screen, because I'd forget otherwise. So I'm using my Illustrated Faith tape runner here, and I'm going to layer these over the black and white flowers. And these were also printed on clear sticker paper, and then I just stuck them to cardstock. That's why there's text on the back. I had some scrap paper, some scrap cardstock, so I stuck those down and so that they'd be opaque, and then I'm putting them down with the tape. And so you can see though letting some of those guys go off the edge, layering them underneath one another on top of those black and white flowers, and then this die cut phrase is going to go right on top. And I love the aqua and that like leaf green next to each other. It's so pretty. So originally I wanted to use that die cut to the top left that said his strength, but that's not really what I'm trying to convey with this entry here. I need God, not just his strength. I need everything, his love, his grace, his mercy, his justice, all of those things. I just wanted to use the sentiment, he is my need. Now I put those coral colored alphabet stickers from Studio Calico up on the top where I knew I wanted the first part of the title to live, and they're kind of getting lost there. So I went to this this other floral from Megan Wells' set, again printed on clear sticker paper, and I thought the black might draw your eye up there. It actually looks better in person than it does on the video. I thought about outlining the word he, but I forgot to in the video. So depending on how that looks, I may go back and do that if it doesn't stand out enough. So the next word in my title is, and I'm very easily just going to use the alphabets that were included with the Less Hustle, More Jesus devotional kit and stamp down that word underneath the he on top of the lyrics. I get some feedback, let's call it, about covering the words in my hymnal. I don't have a problem with that. Just like singing is worship, art journaling for me is worship, and so I'm choosing to worship in this way. No big deal. If you want to keep the lyrics of these songs visible in your hymnal, if you were to choose to do this, go for it. So I have my title down, he is my need. Then I'm going to go in with this media tool. I'm actually not. I'm just showing it to you here. It's silicone. It's really nice. Unlike a paintbrush, you can just wipe it off with a wet wipe, like a baby wipe, to clean it instead of having to like go rinse out your brushes. That's why I got it, and it's really fun for creating little like art marks you'll see in a moment here. First one I'm going to do is take a super small brush and this Target paint in Avocado, and I'm going to paint some leaves. I don't consider myself to be a good drawer or painter of like real life things, but I figured I could, manage leaves. So that's what I'm going to do here to bring in some more of that, that leaf green up to the top, because I really, really like it down on the bottom. So while I've got my paints out, I'm going to go ahead and explain kind of the heart behind this entry and how this book that Jen Wilkin, which is amazing, is set up. Again, it's called None Like Him, 10 Ways That God is Different from Us and Why That's a Good Thing. So it talks about 10 of his non-communicable attributes, like his omniscience, his omnipotence, his sameness, his eternality. It talks about all of those things and then topples the myth that we are any of those things. As one reviewer said, this book is helpful in introducing the attributes that belong to God alone while revealing our own tendencies to try to produce counterfeits in others or ourselves. So it's just a really great book. The chapter I'm journaling from is about God's self-sufficiency and how we are not self-sufficient. We very much are dependent. And so I'm just going to read this little excerpt here. So she first starts out that God has no need because a need is a limit and he is limitless, right? She then goes on to say, but we humans are remarkably needy, a reality we are eager to conquer or conceal. She says, we love autonomy and view dependence as a sign of failure, a flaw of some kind, a lack of proper planning or ambition. Christians, in particular, can interpret physical, financial, or spiritual need as a sign that God has removed his blessing from us because of some failure on our part. But why do we take this view? It's almost as though our reasoning can't separate the presence of need from the presence of sin. But is sin the cause of human need? And she quickly answers that question, no. She says God created them, Adam and Eve, needy, that in their need they might turn to the source of all that is needful, acknowledge their need, and worship. Later on in the chapter, she sums it up by saying, "We are not needy because of sin, we are needy by divine design." So my journaling here is just a quick little excerpt that I just read from the book, just a wonderful reminder that I've been made to be dependent on God. Not that I should look to other things to fill that need, like things of this world especially, or others in this world, but that I would go to Him to meet those needs. So once my journaling's done, I'm going to go ahead and cut any of the flowers that are hanging off the edge of my page here so they're not sticking out from my hymnal. And then I'm going to use this illustrated faith date stamp. It's really cool because it has sentiments or words preceding the date, and so I just rolled it to read "Remember" with today's date so that I remember my need for Him. Every hour I need Him. And that is going to do it. So here's a finished look at my page along with a couple of close-ups. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment below. I love reading your comments and responding. If you are interested in picking up any of the supplies I've used, I've got them linked in the video description below. And that's going to do it. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.